Hello, hello, hello. How's everybody doing today? Just another day rolling, rolling, rolling. Keep it rolling. I'm scared if I take a break that I'll never get started again. But we're on a roll, guys. We are on a roll. And it's all about doing the best you can in the moment, in the situation, right? Everything is a learning moment, everything is a teaching moment, everything is a growing moment. We're stuck in some bad mind control. We've all been brainwashed and beat down and fed chemicals and blah blah blah, right? And we're out the other side. And it's a miracle that we're here. It's a miracle that we made it to this point. And you wonder, right? You wonder, um, you wonder why us, right? Why us now pop out of the days or the how did we how did we get to this point, right? And oh yeah, the Bubba video was great. And we're at this point, right? So you think, okay, well, we're outside of this thing. We see what's happening. It's easy to see what the truth is, right? Or easier than it used to be. So that's great for us, right? But what's our responsibility for other people, right? And that's always going to be difficult, right? Is of course I got loyalty to people that I love, right? But of course I want people to be saved that aren't saved. I think I have Tom. Yeah, I'm gonna ask Tom to come on the show, guys. Hold on a second. I'm gonna go ahead and invite him on. Good morning, Tom. How are you
Hey,
doing today? Welcome to the show.
hey, how's it going, man? Yeah, I was just sitting
Man, it's
backstage
been a
waiting for the
while.
curtain to open.
Yeah, well, it's been a while, man. Hearing your voice, it feels comfortable, man, because it's been a little bit, I sort of opened the door to some things yesterday, right? And sometimes you got to reach out and go in the trenches a little bit, but I don't know. It's like,
Are you talking about your show from last night or during the day?
yeah, the one from last night.
Yeah, I got to catch the end of that a little bit.
Well, I mean, the gist of it is this, right? And I won't go into anybody's personal stuff, right? Because
Absolutely.
that's on them. But like, basically, like these three people kind of have drama with each other, right? And they have a history, right? So they know more information than I do about each other, right? And one of the guys is Urban Disciples, and I know him kind of, and mixed reviews on some of his actions, but I do have kind of a weird soft spot that I want to help him, but he might not want my help, right? So it's one of those things, right? And so I like Mike, right? Mike is my friend, right? And I would say he's my friend. He's a Christian guy. He's my friend. I've been on his platform. He's been on mine. He's welcome to come on anytime he wants, right? And he's got issues with this with Urban and this other lady. First, I don't know for what reason, and that's his business, right? But then I had Mike on, right, and then Urban came in. I said, "Well, is it okay if I have him up here?" And so Urban is not saved, right? And I'm thinking, well, this is a good opportunity to dispel some of his opinions about Christianity, and maybe it'll reach maybe some of his following, right? Um, and so we talked about Christianity. We didn't really talk about the issues that were going on between the three of them, but I couldn't get Mike to stay up there to have a conversation with us, and I had to just talk to Urban by myself. But I should have
Why
just
wouldn't
probably,
Mike stay? Was it just because he was frustrated or because of internet issues?
well, I probably should have like rounded out the show there after talking to Mike and just out of like respect for him, right? Because I didn't know how deep it went between the two of them, right? It
I
would
got
be like if I was on your show and you invited Tony up.
I got
You
you. I
know,
got you.
it's like, okay, now, like I have history with the guy, but you don't, and so it's kind of it's now that I can look at it, from a good point of view in hindsight. Yeah, I probably should have just rounded out after talking to Mike and then talk to Urban another day. But I had him up. We didn't talk about my friend's stuff or his personal stuff. We just talked about Christianity, and then it was over, right?
Hmm.
And I don't know if it made a difference with anybody. I but I reached out to the furthest possible thing to get. And sometimes maybe I should take smaller bites of things, right? And I don't know. I hope I didn't make him mad, but he wouldn't even talk to me afterwards, which I was like, man, at least give me the benefit of the doubt of like having a conversation with me.
I'm surprised Durbin was even watching your channel.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? It makes me wonder if I'm reaching anybody, right? Like I'm like, well, maybe he's watching because he's wants to see how Christians are. Because if all your experience with Christians, right, is people that use Jesus as a scapegoat, or use Jesus to make money, right? And then you see real Christians, right? That might have an impact on you.
Absolutely.
And so you hope, right, that this image of God that people have, right, that, oh, yeah, you just ask for forgiveness from Jesus and just do what you want. Well, a lot of us aren't like that, right? A lot of us, like, we really do follow God, right? We are grateful for our salvation. We do want to be better.
And the thing is, just because someone says they're a Christian doesn't mean they are, and if their actions show otherwise, they may not be. And if you are and you're acting like that, I mean, you're going to pay the consequences. I mean, there's consequences to our actions, Christian or not, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah. I
you
mean,
just
I was looking at a study on hell, because I want to learn more about it, right? And this
on it.
one guy has this opinion that hell's not forever. It'll end at the end of the age when the heaven and earth. I mean, when heaven and earth are when we get the new heaven and new earth, the new age, right? But these things, it's intense, man. There's going to be justice, man. So at the very least, we're looking at that, right? I mean, and at the very most, we're looking at eternal conscious torment forever.
Right. And I mean, it does say for eternity, I
Yeah.
mean, even if it does end after 1,000 years, just think how crappy life is for 50, 60, 70 years. Can you imagine 1,000 years of that?
Oh
It's
my
not going to go
God.
by quick. You know what I mean?
I don't know why people want to play games, man. I would
No,
never roll those dice, man. Never.
no.
I
I
don't
mean,
care if I
even if you
didn't
had to go
believe
there
it.
for a day, I wouldn't want to.
Right, right, right. Like if I didn't believe in God at all, zero, right? And I just ran into you guys and so I cracked the Bible, right? And if I 1% believed it, you know what I mean? Like,
Hmm.
okay, wait a second, these guys might have something here, right? Like then I would just fall in line, man, because I'm not the type of person that's gonna be like, oh yeah, well, you know what, man, that could be fake. Let's go party.
Even if you believe one verse in that thing, it'd be scary enough to not want to go that direction. You know what I mean?
Hey, all it takes is if I believe that you believe, then I'm good. you
Right.
know? Then it's like, okay, well, then I'm not going to play games with that. But the more you read the Bible, right? Like, yeah, okay, there's some fear there of hell or whatever, or punishment. But once you read the Bible and fall in love with God, like, the real image of God, like it's really who He is, not who the mainstream says He is.
Right. And
And
that's why it's so important for people to actually read the Bible themselves. It's so
you know,
we're in a world where we take everybody at their word, and whatever anybody else says, we just automatically believe it or accept it as truth. I mean, and that's just destroying souls.
it is. It is. I mean, someone will see on the news, oh, there's red ducks. They'll tell everybody, hey, look, there's red ducks. It says on the news, just automatic, right? Like they
That's a
don't even
good
question it.
yeah, that's a good one. My doctor said so, or I seen it on the news.
Yeah. And it's like, why do these people get all this credit and all this blind devotion? and you turn all the scrutiny towards Christianity, the Bible, to us, to flat earthers, right? If you would flip that scrutiny around, right, and scrutinize them like they're the nut, right, then you would see just the slightest bit of scrutiny and their plan falls apart.
Right.
And
Right.
it doesn't take much. It doesn't take much digging, you know.
It don't take much reading in that Bible to find out how much truth there is in that, because I mean some of them things from the Testament to New Testament, I mean, are thousands of years apart, and they match perfectly, or you can prove it happened. And just all the prophecies, and just where God was telling Moses, to go get my people, and Moses says, well, who do I say sent me? He says, I am sent me. Tell him I am who I am. And then, when Christ was telling people that Abraham saw his day, and they're like, you ain't but 30 years old, how did Abraham see your day? And he's like, before Abraham was, I am. I mean, you can't there's no person could make that up. Separate
Yep.
that by thousands of years, and that's all capital letter. That I am is deity. You
Yeah.
know,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you
Yeah.
see those
Absolutely.
two verses separated by thousands of years, you
Ah, it's
have to
perfect.
know something's got to be legit about that book.
Right. Right. I mean, the way it all fits together. I mean, when people say it was written by men, I think that makes it more impressive. You know.
Well, no, they wrote it, but they didn't come up with the words. God spoke it to them, and they wrote what God told them to write. That's the
That's right.
difference. It's all inspired by the
Yeah.
Holy
But
Ghost. You know what I mean? I mean,
absolutely. But what I meant was like the fact that it was split up over all those years, right? And separate people, right? And it
hmm
all fits together perfect, right? Obviously, it has one author, right, all the way through, right? But it's like because it was through all these other people, right? It makes it like more legit, right?
absolutely,
You're like, wow, only God could do that, you know? Like,
absolutely. And they say like the Book of Genesis, I think, has more than one author.
yeah,
So
I
think
believe
about
that.
that, and it's perfect.
I do believe that because wasn't it? The Bible. I think was it Moses when he was taking the Jews out of Egypt, right?
hmm
God said, "Here, get a scroll and write this down." It
Yes,
was like one little verse or whatever, and that was like the start of the Bible. Like it was written in the middle of where they were in Exodus, right? And then they were writing from the beginning. So obviously Moses was post flood, right? I mean, because he was halfway after Abraham, right?
yeah. I mean, and they had scribes all throughout the Bible. That
Right.
it's mentioned, and they were there. God would give Moses or whoever the word, and the
So
scribe would write.
amazing. It's so amazing, man. I probably should watch more like lectures on the making of the Bible, like just all the whole process. Because can you imagine looking at all those manuscripts, right, in like a pile, and they all just fit together. I mean, it's just
I
to me,
know.
it's remarkable. It's remarkable.
I mean, he
And
had them on
then,
them scrolls of paper that were rolled up, and it was one continuous sentence. They had no punctuation or periods or
yeah,
commas or nothing like that, and it read opposite we do. Which, I mean, if you were just used to reading right to left, I guess it'd be no big deal. But just to have
yeah,
one gigantic sentence that goes on,
that's
and it doesn't.
amazing.
I mean, just think how stuff has to fit so perfectly to be able to do that, so
And
you could
isn't there like
understand it.
And isn't there like equal letter spacing, right? Where like it says Torah like four
Yep,
times like in one direction, and then Torah four times in the backwards direction. And in I forget what book it was. I forget what book it was, but it has Torah written up and down. And it's like, wow, like there's no way they could recreate that.
I mean,
Like,
and it's just not the word Torah. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff that are
yeah,
supposed to equal letter distance sequencing. Just
yeah.
amazing, frontwards, backwards, up, down. It's incredible.
Oh man. I'm almost ready to like I'm almost ready to change my name from the servant to God's free man. I want to know what that means because I was listening to I was listening to First Corinthians and I heard someone say, you got to be a servant. The first shall be last, right, and the last shall be first. And you got to be a servant. I forget what book I was reading, man, but because I was listening to it, and it was you could be a servant or you could be God's free man, you know? And I was like, oh, I want to be the Lord's free man, you know? Like it sounded like new, you know, and I didn't look it up. Usually I'll look up like a new term that I catch, you know?
Yeah, I
And
never heard that before.
but I wonder how many, yeah, me neither. Me neither. Out of all the times I've been through the New Testament, probably 50 times, you know, it's more than that, right? And I never remembered that at all. And it's like little things will catch my brain, and I'll remember it, you know. And so last night, me and Ray of not Ray of Sunshine, me and Shepherd's Voice were talking about rapture, no rapture, right? And you know, she wanted me to go through Thessalonians and Revelation, and I wanted to do that all in one night, you know. Like that's the way I'm doing it now, you know. Like I'll just get either that or I'll get a small book and just go over it 4 or 5 times in one night, same book over and over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
And but I'm getting the words in my head, you know, like to where I think it was like a month. I can't remember what month it was. A little while back, I taught the whole book of James without even mentioning it, you know, and
Nice.
yeah, and it's like how we treat each other, showing faith by your works, you know, that kind
Mm-hmm.
of thing. And I know I sounded like a broken record because there's always some kind of fight or some kind of thing going on in here. But I think it's good to have that kind of passion, I mean, listen, there's nothing's more important than our relationship with God. Of course, people are going to get pissed off, you
Right.
know what I mean? Because
Right.
they love God. They don't want to hear your crap if it's different than the crap they know. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
But how do we get everyone on the same page? How do we get everyone to realize that, look, we might have all been indoctrinated by even pastors,
Well, of course, but the thing is, we can't do it. They have to be willing to be open-minded and read for themselves. I mean, if you don't
Yeah,
do the study yourself, you're just going to always stay blind unless half of what you've been taught is truth, and you at least got half that. But you don't know what half is true or not if you're not reading and studying this for yourself.
yeah,
Like you say, when
you're,
you read that book of James over and over and over again, you're able to teach on it. If someone
yeah,
else gave that gospel to you, mistaken or half was read out of a wrong version of a Bible. And then what you're saying, what then when you're teaching on it, you're only going to give half truths or it's going to be weakened down and stuff. And
yeah.
that's why it's so important really to just 10 minutes a day. No one's got 10 minutes a day to read the Bible themselves.
I'll tell you what, the book of James takes 19 minutes to listen to it, right? If you can't listen to the book of James 3 times, right, but you can watch a ball game or something, then there's a
Right.
problem. There's a problem with that. And it's like,
Agreed.
yeah, I mean, it doesn't take anything, right? I mean, and I understand we need breaks from it, right? Because like, there's sometimes I'll go 2 or 3 hours of the Bible. I'm like, man, I'm tired, man. I need something to break this up. And sometimes like I'll watch some like a guy talk about the Bible. That'll break it up a little bit, right? But in reality, I need something like a break, right? Like I don't know, watch a
Absolutely.
little cartoon for 2.5 minutes, a little clip or something. And I'm always looking for like all the occultic numbers in it and all that stuff, like, oh man, what is this Illuminati stuff, right?
Right.
But
And
it's
just,
like,
I mean, have
yeah,
you noticed how in the last couple weeks, how many people from the NFL are not able to play on the weekends all of a sudden?
yeah, man, it's all fake, man.
Yeah, and then the thing that gets me is they can be on a list where they can't play, and then 2 days later, they can be right back and able to play. It's like, I mean, something big, I think, is coming with this soon. There's just no way they're
Absolutely.
doing this. If they're doing this to the NFL, I mean, because you got right now hundreds of millions of people watching this every week, right?
Well, check this out, right? Paul from I forget what that Paul from the Apocalypse. You know who I'm talking about? Greetings from the Apocalypse. I forget his name now. Paul.
Paul on a
I
plane.
forget. Yeah. Oh no, 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 not Paul McLean. This guy's like, no, this guy's not Christian. He's like, he teaches that weird love, mindfulness, heartfulness, or something.
Yeah, I don't know what it is.
I forget who he is, but he was played a clip of the people in other countries talking about the booster, right? And they were saying, yeah, people are using this booster to kill babies. Instead, they should need to give it to the elderly. And I'm like, what? They just said that straight out? Like, there's no way you slipped with your tongue, right? Like, what did you mean to say? You
Right,
know?
right.
And so he has it. Oh, Paul from the Apocalypse. Oh no, I can't remember what his darn. name is. Paul Romano. Paul Romano. Does anybody know what channel Paul Romano's is? Um, because it's he has the clip right there on his channel, man, and it's like 2 minutes, not even 2 minutes. It's unbelievable. They're admitting it.
Well,
I
I
mean,
think I think I seen something like that on BitChute, but I'm
and
not
it
sure.
could have been because I'm sure people clipped out that clip, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
And man, I would, yeah, the Apocalypse. Yeah, what Clutch? What's the channel though? His name is Paul Romano, man. Oh man, I hate it. I hate that I don't know his name. But he's not a Christian guy, and I know that him and Hacking the Headlines got into it over that because he did this like week-long thing about how Jesus isn't real and all that. I mean,
Hmm.
it's really, or no, he didn't say that. He said something like he went to India and learned magic or something like that. And oh man, just it's so blasphemous, this stuff that he was saying. Oh, Pockets of the Future. Have you ever seen that? Pockets of the Future.
Never even heard of it. No.
He, I caught him a while back because he was talking about the fake moon stuff, man. But he really he makes me upset, man. Sometimes I'll watch it just because he makes me mad, you know. And it's like, well, why do we do that? Like, why do we why do we you know?
Yeah, I
I
don't
know
know.
some people they'll watch the news, right, and be grumpy, you know. And I but I get that. I get wanting to have something to fight against. I have some energy. Oh, there's Mark, man. Hey, Tom, look, it's Mark Colliard, man.
Oh, wow.
That's the man right there.
Long.
Oh, I'm
Yeah, I
so
haven't seen him
grateful.
in a long time, man.
I know it, man. He's one of my favorite people.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody's one of my favorite people, but he's one of my favorite people. And yeah, man, I mean, it's just like at this point with all the confirmation and where we are, like I feel grateful. And I do know that like we are close to something big with all these basketball players and football players, like you're saying,
Hmm.
because all the celebrities are falling in line as if they are one chunk. Like they're not individual people. Like you don't hear one guy just speak his mind on this stuff. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
It's like very controlled, and there's very little contact between celebrities and regular people, if you know what I mean.
Absolutely. No, I know. I mean, the media, the stars or whatever, the
You should
popular,
get
famous
into
people. I mean, it's the narrative they're controlling is unbelievable. I mean, you can't search any truth anymore in Google. I mean, you have to go to DuckDuckGo or something like that.
yeah.
I
I
mean, it's
mean,
just insane how, I mean, I lost my channel. I don't know how. So, I mean, I lost over 100 subs that I was sub to. I
so
don't even,
how did you get your channel erased, right? When you didn't have any controversial stuff, did you?
nothing, just fishing videos. I have no
Oh
idea what
my God.
happened. I have no idea. It was
You
fine
didn't
all
even
morning. Then in the afternoon, all of a sudden, when I go to my subscriptions, there was just a different page. There was not like all the popular young people, that I don't know anything about,
yeah,
and they were
yeah.
all categorized. I'm like, what the heck? And I all of a sudden I seen something says you have no channel or you have no content. I'm like, what? And then I only took a couple clicks to redo my channel again, but everything was wiped. All my history, all my
Um,
those who were subbed to me. I mean, everything was gone. I mean, everything. So
and it's hard. What people don't understand is that like we're sub to people, right? That we can't find again. You know,
hmm
like
Oh, right.
that's the hard.
I mean, I don't remember 90% of them. Because you just clicked on them. I don't remember their names or their channels, and so now when you go try to find videos to watch, I mean, they don't come up on the recommendations because you're not watching any of them, so they never pop up.
Yeah,
Because pretty much
I
all mine were doctors, do-it-yourself stuff, and then flat Earth stuff. But try to find something on flat Earth anymore.
Hey Tom, what's your new channel called? Because
It's a
Mark wants to subscribe.
oh, let me. I'll try
You
to
can put
get.
a link there because
Yeah,
you have a
yeah, I'll
wrench.
get a link there because it's the same channel. I didn't have to do anything different. It kept my
Tom
icon and
Parker,
everything.
but they just wiped all your stuff, man.
Wiped everything. Yeah.
Well, you know what they did, right? I don't know if you remember this, but we had what's his name, Kaufman, Andy Kaufman video, right? And it had like 4,000 views or something crazy, like a couple thousand maybe. And they took that video off and deleted the views from the view count.
No
They
kidding.
they
I
they
think this
actually
is it.
they actually took more views than they took like twice as many views away from like
Wow.
your yeah from like like your total view count
Yeah.
for your channel. I don't know where we're at now. I don't think we're at 20,000 maybe, but I'm
Dude, I
impressed
had
with
one video
that.
that had almost a half a million views.
You had one that had a half a million.
Yeah, it was just under a half a million views.
Oh my god, that's awesome, man.
And
I wish I could
now I
do
got
that.
2 subs. I had 500, now I got 2 with
well,
no content. I don't know who would
I
wanna
well,
sub to me.
see, this is what, okay, you remember when we started, right? Like it just like going around flat earth, like channels and like other places we were hanging out. I would just have friends like subscribe, like I'll subscribe to you, you subscribe to me kind of thing.
Right,
And then like I had like 80 when we started or something like that. And then it just went up from there. And then a lot of times like what helps is like say I'm watching like a call for an uprising or something, right? And someone makes a comment that I would normally make, in the comment section. I'm like, "Oh, they think like me, you know?" So I'm like, "Hey, I do streams at like 7, come by, you know?" And just leave like like hand pick them almost, and that worked for a little bit, but I don't know
yeah.
how else to grow. I don't know how else to grow a channel,
All
you
you can
know?
do is be out there and have people find you, and, that's why it's important for us to sub to everybody and,
Yeah,
and just share. I mean, whether you watch the channel or not, who cares? Just sub to them and help them out.
that's
It gets
right.
the
That's
more
right.
subs you have, the more you're likely to get found on someone else's computer, in their search results.
Yeah, and when we sub to each other, right? It's like, say my channel goes down, right? If we're sub to each other, I'll find the group and we'll just follow the group around to each stream, you know?
Right,
Because
right,
like if you form like a web ring, right? Say you got like 20 people that do content, right? Or that are willing to do content. Because sometimes, you'll need someone to do a stream just out of the blue, right? But like if you always have somebody doing something, right? Then there's always a place for someone to plug in, like, "Oh yeah, I was out watching truth stuff. I need to get my head right." Because a
right,
lot of people right now, like I could turn this off, go live life, right? But there's people that are on here all day. This is their personality. This is the way they hang out with their friends, right? And so they're online all day. So like this is like a break for them, like finally I'm in reality for like a minute.
right, right,
And so I'm really sensitive to that, because my kids are like that, like they can exist, like my youngest one especially can exist online, like playing video games and all that stuff, right? It's like that dot on the screen is him.
right,
And so it's a different way of looking at things. And then there's a lot of people that like they can't get around anymore like they used to or whatever, and it equals the playing field, right? When you're an avatar, you don't have to be 30 years old, right? You
right,
can still hang out with everybody, right, and be included if you're like the same content, if your spirit is equally yoked with everybody. So there's benefits to it, right? But there's also like some weird psychological stuff that goes on, right? Because there's some weird drama, dude, going on in this this side of YouTube, man.
right.
I've seen some weird stuff, man.
A lot of arguing, a lot of bickering, a lot within the Christian community themselves. I mean, Satan is really upped
Yeah,
his attack, man. I mean, he's just destroying the Christian people that are the few Christians that are left. Just destroying. I mean, I've been watching it work, well, in my own life for a few months, but even longer than that, though, where I've been seeing it happen to so many people just online or just people I know. It's like it's just crazy. What
yeah.
people are falling for and what the deception that's going on.
And not only that, but like as Christians, right? We can't let little fights like break us up, man. We gotta like be
Stick
stronger than
together.
that.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
right. We gotta learn from it, grow from it, and we gotta try to be better, right? And one thing I haven't seen a lot of, right? Maybe not so much in this group, but just in out in the, YouTube, right, is that you're not going to find someone that's going to apologize for when they do something wrong or shitty to you, right? They just move on like it's all good. No one says, "Hey, I'm sorry, I did something wrong, man. Let me change my behavior. I'll make it up to you," or anything like that. You don't see that anymore.
Pride, man. Pride.
It's ugly out there, man.
It's ugly.
And that's the what crazy part is, that's the reality, and we're the weirdos.
Right. Right. No,
You know,
there's
they look.
a lot of hearts growing cold out there. That's for sure.
It makes me sad, man. But like, at the same time, right? Like, at the same time, I don't want to be like doom and gloom, because the end of the story is great, right? Whatever God wants to happen at the end of that book is gonna be there, right? And it feels like we're in kind of control of like things right now because we have free will. It seems like, if we succeed or fail, it'll make or break that ending, but it won't. It will be the way God wants it. And so we need to just let God guide our steps, be a character in the story, and do the right thing, right, at each moment. And I'm having a hard time of letting go of like what I think I'm in control of. Like, I
Right.
want to convince everybody to be a Christian. Like, oh, I'll save your life, man. But that's not how it works.
Right. I'm gonna
And
paste a link here. I've come across this lady a few weeks ago. Does a fantastic job on like end times, rapture, revelations, and she uses Old and New Testament nonstop to, for her teaching and stuff. And just maybe people want to check that out, because she's pretty phenomenal. I haven't found anything wrong with her yet, but I would suggest that people kind of want to know about the rapture and the abomination of desolation and all that kind of stuff. Check out
is
that
this
link I just dropped. And
is this that lady Brenda Weltner?
no, no,
A different lady?
yeah,
Because
different
there's a
lady.
couple there's a couple good teachers, but like, this is what I get with these end time people, right? And
This
I'm
one is the best
addicted
I've
to it.
ever seen, though.
Oh, really? Then
Yeah,
I'll definitely give that a shot. But like, the thing is, right? Like, I'm addicted to these end time people. I love them, man, right? And I would just watch it all day if I could. But the problem is, right, is like, you'll get somebody that's been like, 5, 6, 7 years, like their whole life is the Book of Revelation, right? And you're like, okay, well, they got to know what's going on, right? But they're always changing stuff and moving stuff around, and finding new things, right? And you're like, man, how complicated is this book? Like, it's so hard to search these things out, right? But God does tell us to search them out, right? That he what do you call it? Like, he hides things for us to look for.
right. We got to put
And,
effort in. There's action on our part.
yeah.
I
And,
knock, seek, open, or something like that.
yeah, it's like he I can't remember. He conceals stuff, right? For us to search out, right?
Right.
And it's like precept upon precept, right? Like, when I read the Bible, right, it's very superficial. It's one story all the way through, or one epistle all the way through, right? But there's different ways to study the Bible, right? Like, a verse on top of a verse, right? To
Yes.
create. And so I got to get in more into that, right? Like, more into putting precepts together,
And you see
finding
this
things.
lady do that. She does that. She, like, when she's going through doing Revelation stuff. I mean, she'll use Isaiah, Ezekiel, and just Daniel, many other passages throughout the Old and New Testament to link stuff together. And she is phenomenal.
That's
She's
great.
by far the best end times teacher I've ever seen. And she's young, and she don't use no notes, no nothing. I mean, she got this stuff.
Wow, that's
I mean,
impressive.
yeah. I mean, whether someone else looks at her and don't get nothing out of it, that's fine. But I think she's worth everybody checking out. And she's been on YouTube quite a while, and she doesn't have much of a following.
Send me
I'm surprised she doesn't have a million subs. She's that
send,
good.
send me the link, and then I'll put it on the community board if you want, for
Yeah.
everybody.
Or you want me to send it to you in Skype?
Yeah, please do.
You
And
got
then
it.
that way I'll put it on the community board, and then maybe 100 people or 50 people will click on it.
Yeah, I
Hopefully.
just did it there. So
Well, there was one young lady right now. I don't. She did say a lot of scripture, right? So she does know the Bible, but she was really young, like early 20s, right? Almost like a kid, right? And she was like very good at like spiritually discerning, like seeing demons in people, like at the time they manifest. And she was doing this in like celebrities in slow motion in their videos, and showing you what she's seeing, and it's like it's crazy, right? Because
Right.
because we would never see that if we weren't looking for it,
Hmm.
and she sees it all the time, right? And it was called Chicken Soup for the Truther Soul, which is a long title to put in there, but like I seen her at one of these other places, truther channels, right? And she must have said something that resonated with me because I subbed to her channel, and then I put my channel in there, and I went to go watch her channel. She's got like good videos, right? She's only got like 30 subscribers, right? But she does a podcast and videos all the time, but she stopped doing videos a little while back, and I wonder what happened, because she did good work, I mean, it was tremendous.
Right.
But how there's those people that can find all the like the Kilimanjaro guy and
Yeah.
I forget the other names of those guys, right? They're good at or what's that other guy that we like?
I'm glad you mentioned that. That's Kajani Amari or whatever.
Yeah, Kajani Amari,
Oh yeah, and there's because I got to get sub back to him, and then there's that other guy that he has Nicholson on, and
Nicholson, yeah.
yeah, and RFB sometimes is on that. Oh, I can't think of his
And
name.
Rise, remember Rise? He was good at that too. Rise, because he did the Taylor Swift videos, right?
Yeah.
He was good at like breaking down the symbolism in that. Like if I watch any kind of Seth MacFarlane cartoon, like American Dad or Family Guy, I can see all the symbolism in it. I
Right.
don't know why, but I see it all. It's. I wonder how I could do it and not get a strike, right? But if there's a way that you could show it, I could tell you where all the symbolism is. It's crazy.
Right
I
in your
can't.
face.
Yeah, I can't not see it, right? Like when a guy's wearing a Q hat and talking about the WHO, right? Like in the, but it would have nothing to do with all that. But there's like five things all in a row that would, they are all applied to today, right? And
Yeah,
it's
Days
like
of Noah was the other guy, the other channel. He was good too.
he was good too.
Days.
Sometimes he goes a little bit long. He's like very what do you call it?
Oh yeah, his stuff's
Academic.
3 4 hours long. Yeah.
Yeah, but he's very good though. Very good. If you can listen to lectures that long, right? It's very good, you know. But a lot of his good stuff is right at the beginning anyway, because he comes out the gate fire. And if you can watch that first hour,
Yeah.
that's always good of him. Nicholson's good all the way through. I
Man,
mean, shoot,
that guy's phenomenal.
he is, man.
I think he was the first one I subbed back to, either him or that Daniel Pratt. I like watching Daniel Pratt because he's just like so us. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's emotional and he's raw and he's like, oh, these people.
He speaks
He
from his heart. He really does.
does.
I mean, whether he's upset and going off or if he's just on there crying, apologizing for going off. I mean, he's
Yeah.
legit, man.
Yeah, I would almost rather a person be real than right all the time.
Absolutely.
Be authentic.
Hmm.
That's why I love Adam so much, right? Sure, Adam drinks or yeah, okay, smokes a little weed or whatever, right? But he's so honest about everything he does that he's just so accepted,
He's a
because
good
he's
dude, man.
oh man, he's real. That's the whole thing, right? He'll let you know, oh, this doesn't bother me. Oh, that does, or where you stand, And
Right,
so
right.
there's people like that like they get away with more because they're more real.
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you how legit that guy is. Is
Yep.
I barely knew him, and it's just kind of like the first year. This is when Quantum Eraser got his own channel going and stuff, and there's
Yeah.
like a lot of fighting going on among some of them top people. So I was just
Yeah.
typing away to Adam. He's in a whole nother world. The
Right.
others, and all of a sudden he just called me out of the blue and just started talking to me because I was like thinking, man, because they're making it sound like this flat Earth thing might been a hoax. So I'm like, what's going on? And then he explained everything what was going on with some of the people, and I was like, but to take the time out to call me and talk to me like that was just
Amazing.
unbelievable. I mean, he has no obligation. He doesn't know me.
That's
This is
right.
way before he did my intro video.
Yeah.
You know,
Not only that, but like he did the symbols here, right? All um the logos and
yeah,
all that here. And then I asked him to do that for Lady Love to if he could make me some stuff, right? He did it. No problem.
yeah. He
He
just
doesn't, he didn't know her or anything, just did it.
yeah, yeah. No, I mean, anytime you talk to him, he'll be there for you, man. I mean, he's a good dude. Not many like that.
Not many, yeah. Not many like that. But you know what's weird, right? Is like not really him, right? But like all these smart people that we've met, right? Have all been weirdos, man.
Right.
Like us, right? No, I'm just kidding. But no, but it's like I've met so many smart people since I've come to the truth or flat earth thing. It's like it's weird how I mean, you have to admit, right, that the intelligence goes up to above average with flat earthers.
Right.
And I wonder why that is, right? Like you know what I mean? Like why is it so difficult to understand or accept flat earth? Do you have to not only accept it but also prove it in your head before you can believe it?
Oh, I wouldn't believe it without proving it.
And I guess like well, I mean, you'd have to know like some of the science, huh? Because if you really didn't know how radio waves worked and because
Well,
anybody can shoot radio waves, right? So
well,
if you don't know how they work, right, then it's like you would believe that you could shoot them to the moon, right?
yeah. I mean, it's not even really that you really have to know science, but just look at some of the evidence that's out there. I mean, what proof do they have? I mean, now I mean, NASA, their big thing now is that the Earth is not round. It's egg shaped or spheroid or upside,
Like a pear, a
but look at
pear.
every picture they say is legit. Not one of them
Yeah,
represent that.
yeah, it's horrible,
I
man.
mean, and it's just something that simple that I don't know why the common person that
Tom, when I look at those now, I'm so embarrassed, right? Because water is very reflective, right? I mean, way more reflective than gray dirt, right?
absolutely.
And so if the sun is the only light source and it's shining on the earth, right? Wouldn't it just be a ball of fire? Like, I mean, would we even see land and all that? It would reflect off the water, all this light, right? Like it would look like the sun,
It's
right?
no, it's just it's ridiculous. I mean, I know
It
it, but
is, man.
but if a person's not willing just to really look at it and say, "Oh yeah, that's right. It shouldn't do this or it should do that," and it doesn't. I mean, but you're
Yeah.
just so brainwashed, and it's just like no one. Then the next line always comes. What difference does it make, or who cares?
Well,
Oh, okay,
it's on the first page of the Bible, so you tell me.
right.
We
Yeah,
get
yeah,
we only get one book from the top guy, right? And it's on the first page. So, I mean, you tell me how important it is.
yeah. And hey, I'm gonna have to run here.
All right, my friend. Well, I'm gonna round out anyways. Perfect timing, man.
Peace out,
God
guys.
bless you. Thanks for coming, man.
Hey,
I
you're
just
welcome.
hearing your voice, man, was just all the medicine I needed because last night was rough. I mean, I need to make up some stuff with my friend, but thank you, Tom. What a good guy, man. I enjoy these shows with Tom because it goes so smooth, right? And I don't know how you guys feel about it, but when we were together, man, it was too easy. Hey, Mark, man, I'm so glad to see you, man. I don't want to point you out and embarrass you, man, but like, man, over the years, man, you've been like the most solid dude, and like, a lot of things that we talk about, we relate to on a lot of levels. And so it's good. It's good to see other people that I know are like me inside. Because you walk out in this world, right? And there's people out there that don't feel for you. They only feel for themselves. And you know what I mean? Like, you know how like when you talk to somebody and you feel how they feel and you feel how you feel and you don't want to hurt their feelings. Because then you would cringe, because you said something to make them hurt. Well, there's people that don't think that way. They don't think about how you feel. It's like they don't have that ability. They only think that they're half of the equation, and they don't understand what you mean when you say my feelings are hurt. They act like they don't even know they did it or something. And you're like, if we're not all the same inside, then how do we function? How am I supposed to function with other people? And so it's only been comfortable since I've met you guys. I mean, since I've met people that inside think about other people's feelings. And then knowing the truth, right, Rob? It makes us kind of a leper, right? Because you say stuff to help people, and they hate you. And you're like, no, I'm just trying to straighten you out. But they act like they were like, oh yeah, when I was where you are, Mr. Conspiracy, now I know physics. And you're like, come on, man. I've done, how much physics I've done doing this flat Earth stuff. Hey, Bubba, how you doing, man? Your video was great, man. I enjoyed it. Hey, guys, if you could subscribe to Bubba, man, he does good work, man. It's definitely worth it, man. And yeah, the video today was good. Yeah, you're right about that, Evangelist Michael. Many are called, but few are chosen, man. And we got to keep that road narrow, right? And try to reach out to the hardest person to reach out to. And I know that it's gonna be hard for some people because we're gonna have to talk to people that we don't like, man. Sometimes, right? We're gonna have to be because we were once those people, right? Like if we're out here feeling like we're better than anybody, that's the wrong answer. We need to be able to reach out to people that are hard to love, you know, and especially if they're in need. Because I'll tell you what, from front to back, there's no question that God loves the poor. And so if you could help somebody, then do it. If you can't, don't. But if you can help somebody, even if it's not someone you like, because you never know what you can do to touch somebody, and reach somebody or give them a better perspective on what Christianity is. Because not only are we brainwashed, right, in the real world, right, but we were brainwashed about God too. And you know, I just I just think like if someone left me out there, man, and I just view us all as like shaking sheep. Like, yeah, it'd be great if we can all be good people here, right? And all do decent things to each other, right? That would be great. And we should do that and we need to get better at that. But we need to also reach out to the people that are going to barely make it. And hey, if they make it to the next level, then they'll get straightened out over there. And worrying about our own personal stuff is, even though I love people, right? And last night, right, I mean, all I wanted to do was talk to Mike, right? I felt bad because I didn't know everything. I don't know everything, right? And I just wanted to make things right with him, because he's always been really gracious to me. And I definitely would have respected his wishes on a lot of that stuff if I knew exactly because I don't have a long history with a lot of these people. And so, man, I felt bad. I felt bad. And so I do regret that. I think I could have done better. Yeah, and you're right. God will judge your heart, right? So if your intentions are good and pure, right, and you have sincerity of your heart and you're trying to help, God knows that, and God will um, like he'll lift up the people that are doing right. I know that, and in some way it will become clear, you know, um, who's really trying to help. And that doesn't make anybody better, right? Sometimes I need help, right? And I need, you know what I mean? So we got to look at this as that like we're in this crap together. So what's going on, Rob, with that what's going on with that thing? Did you want to talk about that, or man, it's almost time to round out. I do want to talk to you. I'll email me or something because I'd love to talk to you. I'll give you my number or whatever. And you too, Evangelist Michael, if you want to email, you guys can email me at goodservant22@gmail.com. And so I love to hear from you guys. Sometimes it takes me all day to get to all of you, but I'll try. Anyway, praise Jesus for his sacrifice and his grace. All glory to God. You know, uh, everything that I ever do that's good is because of God, you know. And all glory to God and praise Jesus for his sacrifice. That's why if we're gonna make it to the next level. And um, pray for the children. And I will see you guys tonight at 5. So in just a few hours. All right. Love you guys. Be good.